I usually look to the DEC when I'm looking for a place to hike. You know what I'm talking about. The state developed and maintained iconic brown and gold signs at trailheads across the Adirondacks. I often forget that there are many other options. In the Champlain Valley, for example, CAT, or Champlain Area Trails, has built out a network of over 60 miles of hiking options, from Willsboro Point to Westport, Mineville to Ironville. How they do it on today's Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from Claxton Hepburn Medical Center, dedicated to providing patient care and regional services to the people of St. Lawrence County. claxtonhepburn.org.
Hey, I'm David Summerstein. It's Thursday, July 27th. First up, a Democrat has entered the race to challenge Congresswoman Elise Stefanik next year. Stephen Holden declared his intention to run in the 21st Congressional District last weekend. Holden is a retired Army lieutenant colonel. He served multiple tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan. Last year, he ran unsuccessfully against Republican Claudia Tenney in the neighboring 24th Congressional District. Holden faces a major uphill battle. Stefanik is one of the most powerful Republicans in Washington. She has name recognition, millions of dollars in campaign cash, and beat her challenger Matt Castelli in 2022 by 19 percentage points. Holden doesn't currently live in the 21st Congressional District, but he told the Watertown Daily Times he's planning to move to be closer to family and to Fort Drum. The City of Burlington has activated a temporary above-ground sewer pipe to keep untreated wastewater out of the Winooski River, which flows into Lake Champlain. On July 12th, a wastewater pipe that runs underneath the river to a treatment plant broke. It's believed the heavy rains that caused severe flooding across Vermont also broke the pipe. As a result, untreated sewage was flowing into the Winooski for almost 2 weeks. Department of Public Works Director Chapin Spencer told city councilors Monday that the focus has been on reducing and rerouting the sewage flows and repairing the original pipe.
We started pumping and hauling sewage from above the break to North Plant starting a day after the break occurred, and started the temporary bypass work to construct a 1 mile long plastic pipe from above the break to North Plant the following day.
Spencer said the estimated cost for that work is more than $750,000. The temporary pipe went online Tuesday morning. A DPW spokesperson says things are going as expected, though extreme rain events will be a test for the pipe. The plan for fixing the original pipe is to conduct more dye testing to help determine the size and location of the break. Divers can't investigate until flow and visibility conditions are safe. There are about 2,000 miles of hiking trails in the Adirondacks, but many of those trails are concentrated in the High Peaks region. One nonprofit in the Champlain Valley has been building its own public trail network, almost entirely on private property. Emily Russell brings us this story about the Champlain Area Trails.
It's a sticky summer day in the town of Essex in the Champlain Valley. Colin Powers is scraping away at rocks and dirt. He's from Wadhams and is helping build a new trail on South Boquet Mountain. He picks up a stone twice the size of a bowling ball.
I'm going to try and set the stone down in a couple different ways and see which way it wants to be in the ground. Like, where does it just naturally, sort of fit?
Powers is volunteering for the Champlain Area Trails. It's a nonprofit based in Westport. The group has pieced together about 80 miles of hiking paths here. Many of them are on private property. Kathleen Holtzman is also here volunteering, raking part of the new trail through the woods. Holtzman is from New York City, but spends summers in the Champlain Valley.
I use the trails all the time, and I just love the organization. I love what they do. My first one was the Quarry Trail. I've worked on trails in Lewis, and I enjoy it, and it's great to then hike the trail that you made. It's really fun.
And the Champlain Area Trails is working on expanding even more, which Colin Powers says is clear around the region.
One of the astonishing things is just how many trailhead signs you see today. Driving around this area, you can't help but run into another one.
Including a new one just 10 miles up the road in Willsboro.
My name's Chris Mayer, and I'm the Executive Director for Champlain Area Trails. And I want to thank all of you for coming here on the grand opening of the Long Pond Trail.
About 30 people are here for the inaugural hike of this trail. There's a basket of muffins in the back of Marin's truck, and folks are passing around bug spray.
Here we go, everybody. We can start walking.
The trail to Long Pond skirts past a lush green bog, crosses over a dirt road before going deeper into the woods. The Champlain Valley is just 30 minutes from the Adirondack High Peaks, but Marin says that's never really boosted business here. That reality sparked an idea back in 2006.
Many of the towns and communities didn't really get very many economic benefits from outdoor recreation. And also people living here had to travel a distance to really hike on trails. And so people came together and said, well, let's see how we can fix that.
These kinds of public trail networks on private land are pretty common around the U.S., from the Kingdom Trails in Vermont to the Zumwalt Prairie Preserve in Oregon. There's no way to know exactly how many of them there are. They're all slightly different. To establish a trail network like this, people have to come together and agree. It contributes to the greater public good.
We wanted to welcome everybody who wanted to experience the outdoors and nature.
That's Bill Harbison. He hosts one of the Champlain Area Trails on his private property in Willsboro.
We also thought that people deserved to be able to walk into the woods and not be burdened with signs that say forbidden or private property.
Some local landowners near these trails also say they see a benefit. Andrew Stokes owns a place on Long Pond in Willsboro. He says he was happy to see a 49-acre plot of land preserved for a new trail.
You know, I think development is certainly encroaching on the area, and the wooded acreage across of our property has been at risk for development. And the kind of solidification of this trails network helps to ensure that it stays wild for many decades to come.
Of course, there are some folks who would rather see the land developed or used for something else. But Paul Gagnon says trails that cross private property offer a unique perspective. Gagnon is with the North Country Trail Association. That group established a scenic trail stretching from North Dakota to Vermont.
When you walk through a farm field, for instance, you really can see the hard work that the farmer is putting into planting his crops and harvesting his crops. And when you walk through, some working forest land, you can see all the work that the foresters have done over the years.
Gagnon says public trails on private property accomplish two big things. First, they often conserve land. The Champlain Area Trails has protected about 1,000 acres so far. Second, they expand access in places where hiking trails can sometimes be hard to come by.
If we want to provide additional opportunities for people to hike or get outdoors in places like that, having private landowners step up and grant permission for people to hike out there or have a trail out there is really important.
About a mile into the new Champlain Area Trail, hikers get the first glimpse of Long Pond. Shalone Heald is here with a few of her girlfriends.
Gosh, it is beautiful. The shades of green, the water, the sun today shining on the water, the lily pads, and so many people are going to be able to enjoy it rather than a small group.
It's not big, deep wilderness, but this trail and so many others like it offer a place to walk in the woods, breathe fresh air, and just experience the outdoors. Emily Russell, North Country Public Radio in the Champlain Valley.
You can find photos and a map of the Champlain Area Trails on our website, ncpr.org, and we have more news there all the time, of course, ncpr.org. Music today by Caitlin Scholl of Lake Placid and Paul Myers of Colton. I'm David Summerstein, North Country Public Radio.